I'm going to talk about building AI agents across multiple interfaces, and I'm using interfaces here very loosely compared to like human-computer interface and stuff. A little bit about me first. I have a background in AI research. I do DevRel now, and I teach people how to build agents that are useful but not dangerous. And the talk has to do with that and the patterns that I see that are effective at delivering that. For me, the important thing about agents is defining what agency means for that specific job to be done, which is the ability to take action or to choose what action to take. It is a simple phrase, but with quite a big implication, quite big side effects, if you wish. So I like this plot, which is agency against predictability. The red dot at the top is a fully deterministic automation, a workflow that is if-else and control flow and all of that. The other red dot is YOLO mode, fully agentic, dangerous permissions, all of that. Neither of those are very effective at achieving something that is useful really for the user. For me, the sweet spot is something in between where I call semi-deterministic orchestration, which is workflow looking, but it has an LLM component to it. Maybe to route some decisions, maybe to evaluate something, and based on that, pick the path or the next steps of the workflow. And then the other thing, I call it constrained non-determinism, which is more akin to a full agentic workflow, but constrained not to be dangerous, right? Not to exfiltrate data, and basically prevent the agent from harming the user. So I want to stay in this area, and I want an agentic system that has both reliability and agency. So what I built, and there is a demo that you can see on YouTube, is a YouTube admin agent. I'm a DevRel person, I do YouTube, and I manage the Arcade YouTube channel as well as managing who we sponsor for videos, and I also see competitor channels and things like that. But the point of my talk is not about this specific agentic system. It's about the pattern that I used to build it. So this is the architecture of it, and it looks kind of busy, but the main point for me here is that I need two projection layers for interfacing with this agent. Here on the left, we have the GUI, which is something I rarely use, but it's useful as a presentation layer. And then I have an agentic layer, which is driven by the action layer that, I work at Arcade. All of the MCP servers are there, and the main server consumes that. And the semi-deterministic orchestration, I built it with Mastra workflows, and the point there is I use the agentic layer to design the workflow. And then I incorporate that into that semi-deterministic orchestration layer. And the kind of glue, the main thing, is that the memory is there to serve both, right? The memory is shared, but why though, right? Like why should we build like this? Why should we care about having this? And the idea for me is, look at the benefits of workflows versus agents. A workflow is very good at capturing domain knowledge. And that means the user knows how to do something. And it may do it with an agent in a very repetitive way. So the agent is accelerating their work, but that activity is still repetitive. And that screams you can optimize it into a workflow. So you can use the goodness of the agent side to distill that agent into a good workflow that is predictable and optimizable, while still keeping the agent side to reveal patterns that are useful, to explore the data and the action space, to design these kind of one-off workflows, and to use it in the dangerous mode with your supervision. So the rationale is basically, why don't we have both? And the ultimate key here is, well, it all goes down to context again, right? For me, and the way I think about context within agents is that a context is the environmental knowledge provided to agents to enable them to understand tasks, make informed decisions, and maintain continuity. So the context is the thing that enables the agent to be autonomous. It enables the agents to have the information to make the right decision at the right time. But that context can come from workflows. And in many cases, it should. So both sides share the same memory. The database is structured data, which is excellent for optimizing workflows and clones. You don't need an agent that is semi-deterministic to parse the structure every time or the shape every time. But then free text, searchable text, makes the agentic version capable of things like watching the videos. So this is where I explore. And as I explore and I find myself doing the same thing every time, I freeze that repetition into a workflow, and now I can do that much faster. If you want the YouTube workflow, it's open source. Maybe I need to make the repo public, actually. You can clone it. If you want your own workflows, a recipe that it's working for me is I take the diagram from slide 6 and a reference to Mastra docs and arcade docs. You tell the engine what you want, and you get a working system. Thank you.